All right, hello, and welcome back, sports reporters who have indeed reassembled on this beautiful Saturday morning. Oof. We are a mere 4 hours from the Tennessee Volunteers, hopefully making it to the second weekend of March with their matchup with Duke. Not nervous, but I do
Tennessee playing Duke?
Tennessee is playing Duke.
Ooh.
I think
Did you guys see Ken Lung in the stands?
Who?
Oh, he was in the stands?
Yeah.
Dope.
Or I saw a tweet with a picture of Ken Lung calling a traveling violation.
Attaboy, Ken.
I don't know. Is he a Duke medical school grad or is he a Duke undergrad? I'm not sure which.
I want to say, I don't know if it's both, but I think his wife is also.
I'm looking. Where did Ken Lung go to college?
But no.
He's a doctor.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jamie.
I do love the fact that
Lueng, Ken Lung.
I do love the fact that Chase is trusting Rick Barnes in the month of March.
Yeah, that seems unwise.
Yeah, bud.
No, we're all here. We're ready. We got the power tee going.
Is that camo?
It is camo up top.
I know, like I told you before we recorded, you look like a commercial-free superhero, Stripe Boy.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Anyway, Rick Barnes.
Andrew's trying to rational, Andrew. Andrew.
Rick Barnes.
Rick Barnes in March, buddy. Good luck.
Look, I'm all positive right now. They escaped. This is a likable bunch. Jemai Mashak has been a delight since entering.
Isn't Rick Barnes the coach who couldn't win with Kevin Durant? It seems, and DJ Augustine, who couldn't get anywhere in the tournament.
He made it to the Final Four.
In 2003.
Mm-hmm. Irrelevant.
20 years.
Hold on. This is not a Tennessee bashing podcast. This is a very...
It's not a Tennessee bashing podcast. It's just that we have to realize that...
Wait, did Tennessee hire Rick Barnes? Providence's Rick Barnes?
Yes.
Yes.
That was
and Clemson's Rick Barnes.
That seems unwise to me.
Wow. No, we're a pro
Rick Barnes has my knowledge of Rick Barnes is limited to the Kevin and DJ Augustine plot point that I mentioned earlier, and of course, Rick Barnes ends up looking, when he's a coach at Providence, he's one of the college coaches who looks really terrible in the book The Last Shot when they're recruiting some of the Lincoln High School kids. I think Rick Barnes is the one who does the magic.
I haven't read that book.
Rick Barnes does a magic trick in front of a potential recruit.
No.
One of the coaches does. I'm not sure if it's Rick Barnes. It cannot be
Rick Barnes. There's no way it's Rick Barnes. It might be Fran
Fraschilla who does the magic trick, but I think it's Rick Barnes.
There's no way Rick Barnes did magic.
Jamie?
There's no way. If I had to do a draft of college basketball coaches most likely to have any sort of magical training, Rick Barnes is near the bottom.
You don't even have to have magical training. Just do a magic trick.
Yeah, still. I just don't see it. Barnes doesn't strike me as that guy. Andrew, you have a Purdue take before we get into some NBA stuff and some G League stuff and some other fun sports items this week. But Purdue lost again.
I will say this. Being in Big Ten country in the state of Michigan, and you look at that Purdue team, it's not that I'm saying, we all saw this coming. You never see a 16 beating a 1. You never be like, I saw it coming. When you look at the makeup of Purdue's team, when you have an option A surrounded by a lot of option C and Ds, things like this were going to happen. And it's the third straight season or third straight tournament, third straight season, whatever, that Matt Painter has lost to a team that's seeded 13 or lower. I'm not saying that it's time for Purdue to fire Matt Painter. He's the best coach they've had since Gene Cady, arguably second best coach in school history. It's a serious inflection point. And Bob, you gotta.
Oh, Bob is.
One thing. Just to be clear, I looked it up on the internet. It was Rick Barnes who did the card trick.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Hold on, card trick's not magic. That's a different thing. A card trick's not magic. Hold on, we're not. I thought you were.
Excuse me.
He's trying to justify why we're
Ricky
saying
J may not be with us anymore, but he's going to come back from the great beyond and give you a talking to about how card tricks are magic.
I can't do it. Card tricks are not magic.
He's trying to justify why Rick Barnes isn't a complete dork, and I gotta admit, it's kind of adorable.
That's my basketball coach. That is my college basketball coach, Rick Barnes.
Okay, you guys are making fun of me for Aaron Rodgers already, and I don't like it.
You know what? Look, I'm not going to make fun of you for Aaron Rodgers.
You are going to do that.
Actually, yeah, you're right. I am. Anyway,
yes, you are.
Purdue. I think about 2018 when Tony Bennett and Virginia lost to UMBC by 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I had a take last night that said FDU beating Purdue is the greatest upset in college basketball history. I will stick by it. But I look at what Virginia did. They had to go back to the drawing board in terms of how we mentally rebound from perhaps the most embarrassing loss in school history. Purdue has to do the same thing. But my worry about them is the way Matt Painter has put the program together and has structured the roster over the last few years. I don't know where that goes because Jaden Ivies aren't walking through your door every single season. Like I said, at first, you have an option A surrounded by a bunch of options C and D's. You cannot go into the second weekend thinking, oh, that's how my roster should be made up. So I'm not shocked that FDU beat Purdue, but now Purdue has to go back to the drawing board, and I worry that they won't.
My knowledge of Purdue is they always seem to lead the tournament in having someone who's just a giant oaf. Who's somehow the centerpiece of their audience.
Matt Harms, Zach Edey, who may or may not be coming back, which I would say, Zach, you should probably come back.
You got to milk this for all it's worth. Like the NBA is not on the hunt for more Marks Eaton. I think Zach Edey should try to enjoy his college. He should Drew Timmy it and try to milk the college experience for all it's worth.
Because
not that I'm advising young men what to do with their lives.
What's going to happen? Are you going to take a charter flight to face Ohio State, or are you going to be riding the G League bus to Sioux
Matt
Falls?
Stainback went to Xavier, right, and not Purdue.
Yeah,
right?
So
Matt Stainbrook, who was driving it like an Uber,
who had the T-shirt under the jersey. See, Biggs wearing the T-shirt under the jersey, I already know.
Because they're not cut. So they have to.
I know.
They just have to make themselves
Blair
look
do that
large.
at Pitt?
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
okay.
But DeJuan Blair was a very strong man. He just
he was a stocky dude.
He just didn't have knee tendons, so that's why he fell to the second round.
Yeah. I love a big who wears T-shirts under their jersey because I just know, one, you're a tough son of a bitch. Two, you're going to be doing work in the paint. Like, you are just going to be fundamentally sound. And I'm like, hero. And plus, Stainbrook had the goggles, too, I believe. Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Good times.
That's my analysis on college bigs.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, speaking of college, I wanted to pick y'all's brain about something. So I was listening to Bomani's podcast the other day, and he spent a pretty good amount of time on Bob, you're muted again. There he is. Hey, Bob. So I was listening to Bomani, and he had this monologue about Scoot Henderson, right? Like he was watching some Scoot Henderson like YouTube highlights and was like, he just looks awesome. Like it's really a 1-2. You can't go wrong with Victor Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson, and it's more of a conversation. And I thought that's where it was going to go. And then he talked about where it's like, it's so hard to find Scoot Henderson, where it's like he'd be a bigger deal, was I think kind of the thesis of what he was talking about, where it's like if he was playing for North Carolina or playing for Duke this year, he would be seen as like this big time marvel. And I think he just got shut down for the rest of the year in the G League. But I wonder if that's something, because he was like, oh, this is a problem for college basketball that guys like Scoot Henderson skip out. And I wonder too, is it a problem for Scoot Henderson because with NIL and with the charter flights, with just really how good it is for a lot of kids now to do that 1 year in college, that I don't think it's a mistake is the right word, but it was just something that like, it's kind of weird that, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but I just look at it as like, that is interesting that Scoot Henderson, and that's still kind of happening a little bit, where like Darius Baisley definitely did not benefit from that way. And part of it, the G League and going to that high school G League approach, was that it was a faster way to get paid. And now with a lot of these big time universities, you can still get paid pretty well, and you have a better experience. You're with a lot more kids your own age. It's just a better deal now. And it used to be forever. Like this was like, oh no, go to the G League, go get paid, like skip it if you don't need to do it. Now I'm like, yeah, if Scoot Henderson had gone to Duke or something like that, I think it would have been a better experience. I think it would have been better for his brand. I think it would have been better for the hype going into the NBA draft. I think it's better for the NBA if he's playing at one of the premier universities.
Well, I think it's definitely better for the NBA if the one and dones actually do 1 year. But Scoot Henderson is actually, not to disagree with Bomani, but Scoot Henderson is actually dropping. Like there's the jumper has not been good this year. It has not come around. He has not. You know, we still haven't gotten a handle on what how G League or all of those leagues sound, by the way, like some kind of odd off-brand flavor of Mountain Dew. I don't know what the overtime
G League.
A Mountain Dew overtime Ignite, or it sounds like a very sketchy gambling company that's run out of Trinidad and Tobago.
I don't know, like DraftKings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to place $10 on FDU to get to the Final Four on Overtime Elite. That said, there are some questions about the jump shot has not come around, and he is still an extremely physically talented player. His handle is great. His ability to distribute is great. No one denies any of that, but he does need a jump shot. He needs just a quasi reliable jumper in order for him to be someone you could say, oh yeah, well if you don't get Wembanyama, Scoot's a decent consolation prize. But like some of the draft people are talking about Brandon Miller going second now, and that wasn't happening in November and December, and that's because of how he played in the G League. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's.
And I'm not saying I would encourage people.
To me, those flaws would be the same whether he's playing in the G League or he's playing for.
I just don't think you notice the same way if he's at Duke or Alabama.
Oh, sure you do.
I don't know.
You do. Yeah, because you'll have more eyes on the product, and you'll be able to kind of pick his game apart in quicker.
Would be doing
it will be a quicker process to kind of evaluate him, because look, I'm not saying that the G League does whatever, but are people really? Oh yeah, I want to people who are going to watch Scoot Henderson in the G League.
Only draft sickos are watching G League games to get this.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
draft sickos below that level, like me, are just reading things that people write about how he's playing in G League. I'm not watching.
But what I'm saying is, if Scoot Henderson is at, or any of these G League cats are at a North Carolina, Duke, UCLA, Kansas,
everybody's got eyes on them.
You don't have to go searching for oh, how does this kid look?
What channel in the 800s is True TV on my cable package? I don't know. I gotta find it again.
It's a March tradition.
Well, no, you just go to YouTube TV now. Like, it's so easy where they, like, with so many people doing it that way, I think it's easy for people. It's getting easier. And the multi-TV option on YouTube TV.
Can I just say something? I just want to talk about the good.
Take it, Andrew. Go for it.
Can somebody play some organ music in the background? I want to talk about the goodness of YouTube TV. Yeah, they're gonna do another upcharge, and from its initial buy-in, it's 108% upcharge over the last 6 years. That's fine. That's completely fine. But quad box on YouTube TV, it's slowly rolled out over the last few weeks, and I got it last week or two.
I gotta say,
yesterday.
Andrew, hold on. Stop. Poke.
Yeah.
The stripe thing is throwing me off so much. It
is. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Chase, do you know how to close the Venetian blinds?
The blinds are closed. When I say the sun is spearing me in the eye, like, it's right here. I can't get away from it. The sun is just...
You look like a character from Star Trek: The Next Generation, who Picard has to be like, no, we cannot engage in prejudice against the striped people.
Yeah,
and has to stop a war between the spot people.
And he's brought upon the ship, and he's like, "Please help us. We are struggling.
Help my poor we're my many generations of stripy countrymen will be wiped out by the spot people." And Picard has to violate the Prime Directive again and save them.
And here's the problem. The strike people basically decided they want to be a part of the Federation of Planets because they were worried that they would be engaging in some type of, galactic conspiracy. But all of a sudden, they realized, oh, we're vulnerable. Now we need the Federation of Planets. Yeah. So good job, Chase. Good job.
There was a very good tweet the other day about how every Star Trek: The Next Generation series is called like Explosion, and the plot like revolves around a huge explosion. And on the other hand, like the original series, it's called Yonder Which Way Goes, Man of Faith, and it's about a horny space frog who makes everyone get naked.
Yeah.
Wow.
True. Accurate tweet. Very true.
Yeah.
But to bring it back to Scoot briefly for a second here.
Chase is going to find a hot striped woman who's going to get it on with Riker later in the episode.
I was hoping you were going to say that it was like a Firefly character, which is
no. You don't get Firefly. You don't get
Firefly. That's my favorite.
No, there are no striped. No, Jane. There are no striped people in Firefly.
These are the consequences of your actions, Chase. No Firefly.
One of the first celebrity interactions I had on Twitter was getting righteously scolded by Adam Baldwin, noted conservative, for something for me getting pissed at him, like caping for Andrew Breitbart or something.
Is Adam Baldwin? Adam Baldwin is he's like a cousin of the Baldwins, right?
No, I think it's just the same last name. I don't think he's related.
I thought he was like a distant cousin or something.
Jamie, look this up, but no, I don't think he.
Okay.
I do not.
What's the Song of Jane? The episode where they created a whole mud statue for him in that distant planet. What was he? The song they sang, "The Mountain, the Man of Jane," something like that. But it used to be stuck in my head.
I don't know, Stripe Boy. Go back to school.
Yeah.
Well, either way, I would highly encourage folks to listen to Bomani talk about it. But it was interesting because it was like whether or not it was like good for college basketball, bad for college basketball, or like why there's not as much excitement about the tournament this year is like guys like that are not playing in it. Because I think too, like Zion was such a marvel that entire year in college. Like Obama's like courtside for Duke games, and you're just like, there's so many eyeballs that Scoot. I think
Nike stock dropped when his shoe
blew up.
Yeah.
In front of God and everybody.
Exploded up in front of Obama, and yeah. That was a big deal.
I mean, that was huge. Like Zion was. I mean.
Oh, by the way, Rick Barnes also did the "I found a quarter behind your ear" trick.
Okay, that's enough. Now he's just doing a bit. Now Bob's just doing a bit.
I'm reading. It's on the internet.
That means it's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Joel Embiid is now the betting MVP favorite, Andrew Hammond. Do you think the MVP goes to Joel Embiid?
Sure, fine, maybe. I don't know. It's the NBA is like at this point in the season, it's in this weird like after the All-Star break and right before the NCAA tournament, there's this window of the NBA, and really like I'd say into like April, right before the season's over, like maybe the last 2 weeks of the season. There's this space where if you're in it, you care. But if it's kind of like just adjacent, it's like, okay. And it feels like the teams start to feel like that too. Like they're just all waiting for the playoff push. And anything in this window of time, I just feel like, okay, cool. I mean, look, I think Joel Embiid probably should be MVP. But I don't know. The MVP race in the last
the whole
years,
conversation around the MVP has been so exhausting. I just don't care at this point. I do not like. Okay,
thank you.
Let's establish a couple of shared realities here. The basic is Nikola Jokic has won 2 straight MVPs. Correct? Everyone, that's a fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He is playing better this year than he did the last 2 years, correct? Okay. Would he make for a perfectly viable MVP winner this year? Yes? Okay. Has Joel Embiid been awesome? Yeah. Could he win? Great. Awesome. Give it to Joel. He's been just a monster. Great. You know what? I just don't care. I really don't care.
Yeah.
I really, really don't care. I do not care for the one more given. Are MVP voters influenced by race? Of course they are. Does that manifest in all kinds of ways, which can't really be parsed just based on which little circle they filled in on their MVP SAT test? Of course not. I do not care about the NBA MVP discourse. It is exhausting and boring. I want to watch the games. I like watching Nikola Jokic play. I'm going to watch Nikola Jokic play in 2.5 hours when they have an afternoon tilt against the Knicks.
Are you going?
I'm gonna no.
Oh.
No. I've got work to do, but I'm gonna have the game on in the background.
Okay.
But, boy.
Yeah. It's
The MVP race hasn't given me a reason to care this year.
I don't care. Who cares?
Yeah.
There's some. The cool stuff about the NBA is I want to watch Eastern Conference Finals. Sorry, Andrew, between the Sixers and the Bucks, because that Giannis and Embiid going head to head would be awesome. That would be awesome. I would like to watch those games.
I mean, you gotta. This means Doc Rivers actually doesn't have to, completely crap the bed. But yeah, sure. No, go ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
I would love to watch a finals between the Nuggets and either Giannis or Embiid or Tatum, who is deserving of MVP votes, except for some reason he can't hit a 3-pointer right now. Perhaps you can enlighten us as to why.
It's March.
Okay, cool. And the rest of it, oh God, I don't care.
I don't care.
I'm trying to remember. There was so much column ink wasted about the Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant 2006 MVP vote. Or
Still mad about that, by the way.
Yeah. Or if you want to go back further, the Karl Malone, Michael Jordan MVP vote in 1997. Or people getting retroactively heated that Dirk Nowitzki won the year the We Believe Warriors knocked him out in the first round.
It's hilarious.
Somehow those were more and this can be absolutely a question of time, color, what happened, but I do not remember being as bored and exhausted by all of it as I am by this what's seeming a 3-month discussion about a vote that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I'm bored. I haven't been given a reason to, I don't know, I guess feel invested in it. Even though I like watching the NBA. I love the NBA, but this MVP race hasn't given me anything oh, man, this MVP race is something. I'm just kind of and maybe it's because I've seen more interesting MVP races in the past, and I'm just like, oh, it's this is a good movie, but look, I can point to movie A and movie B and tell you why those were more interesting than this.
I mean, look, it really reached its nadir on that moment on whatever ESPN show that had, Reddick and Stephen A.
Oh,
and,
Reddick and Kendrick Perkins.
Kendrick Perkins. And I'm just like, Reddick was being a smug Duke boy about it, and the high-handed with which he was like, oh, these voters could just being like, we have a little something here at Fancy Boy University called Advanced Statistics, and now I'm going to unpack that for you. And I was just like, just shut the hell up, JJ. It reminded me why everyone hated JJ Reddick. The JJ Reddick beloved podcaster redemption tour, where people hated him when he was at Duke, and now he's rehabilitated his image and he's relatable and he's providing a new kind of basketball commentary. And then he comes out with this, and I was like, oh yeah, that's why everyone hates JJ Reddick.
Well, okay, I will defend JJ in the sense of when he said the line about the ESPN shows basically just, being created to sow discourse. I was just like,
yeah, you just figured that out.
Wrong.
You just figured that out, JJ Reddick. You just figured out that
it's the fact that he said it, and it's like, hey.
Like, look at Jamie Horowitz's entire career. Yes, that's what they were bred for. There are actual cable networks in theory intended to discuss politics that model themselves after Stephen A. and Skip Bayless's fake kayfabe fights. Yes, that is a true thing, and we have known this for many a year. Shut the hell up,
we are never going back, by the way. Just a heads up,
because
everybody.
It's because we watched the clips, because we engaged. And it's all of our fault.
Yep.
In any case, Giannis is the best player in the NBA. He should win the MVP. There, done.
Bob.
Yeah, what?
It's been a weird week for you. Andrew and I's teams are fine. The Falcons look like real Super Bowl contenders. It's Desmond Ridder. It's his time here. Jesse Bates is going to be playing safety.
Well, yeah. Hold on.
What was that?
What?
You said Falcons Super Bowl contenders, and I instantly just tuned out.
I don't know if you looked around the NFC right now.
He's yanking our chain.
No, the NFC is wide open.
The NFC's okay. First off, Chase, love you, bud, but the NFC is wide open in a sense of nobody wants to actually win it.
The Falcons do. Falcons are serious.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the alien stripe planet in Sector 4 where people are talking about the Falcons were winning.
Right. Here's the funny thing. The Vikings are in this weird, hey, we aren't rebuilding, but we're it's like an HGTV show. We aren't rebuilding, but we're going to take this space and we're going to switch it around. It's you're kind of halfway through. It's you're kind of sort of rebuilding. No, we aren't.
It's not rebuilding if you don't call it rebuilding. We're reshuffling. We're doing whatever.
And you're getting a lot of dead. You're getting rid of a lot of dead contracts. And you're at the same time, or getting rid of a lot of dead contracts and old guys. Which
I feel
opens
James
up
Franco
things.
in that gif where it's first time to Andrew over here after the Falcons did that this
So I look at the NFC North and it's wide open because the Bears have done a great job retooling. Detroit has done a great job retooling. Green Bay is probably going to be in the wilderness for the first time in, I would say, about
my whole
generation
life.
And a half.
Yeah.
They haven't been this bad since Don Majkowski was under center.
I was going to say, you're looking at 86, 87 in terms of...
No, those are the Lynn Dickey years. Favre showed up in what,
92.
93?
But Majkowski was late 80s, early 90s. But yeah, you're in this weird space, and the Packers decided to take Aaron Rodgers somewhere.
I don't know where he's going to play.
I don't know. Yeah, I do love the fact that
not my concern.
I do love the fact that the heir of the Johnson & Johnson fortune decided to sign maybe the most anti.
Yeah, that was the Pablo Torre tweet that I shared in the group chat. It's wild. I mean,
thinking about it is wild.
There was a photo, for those who missed it. There was a photo circulating from noted anti-vaxxer and crank Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Just arms wrapped around
Who's
Aaron
married to
Rodgers.
Cheryl Hines, by the way.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Curb Cheryl Hines?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not going to get into RFK Jr. chat today, but
I know, but still,
he was
wild.
Up until about 7 years ago, he was generally known as just an environmentalist, an environmental activist, and he's
a hippie.
Yeah, his politics have veered in a different direction since then because reasons. I don't know. Yes,
clout.
For clout, yeah.
Yes.
Why. For the clout. He wanted to get his 5-star rating up, and that's what happened.
Aaron Rodgers a Jet.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Jet. It's speaking of things that are exhausting. That I'm already. Oh God! I do not want to have to pay attention to the Pat McAfee standing and shouting 2.5 hours.
Oh, buddy, get ready for it. Get ready for it.
That's the thing I am accepting now. That Pat McAfee needs to be part of my media diet in order to be a well-informed Jet fan. That's my world now. I have to live with that. I guess I could ignore it and just watch the game, but we all know that's not going to happen. So
because you need to be wired. You are committed, Bob.
I am
automatically.
I have said that I will be a well-informed Jet fan. So this is something I'm gonna. Yeah, that's.
Are you ready for 70% of your games to have some type of a prime time or exclusive night treatment?
Yeah, no, that's. I like knowing that the game is on at 1 p.m. That's too much change for me.
By the way, that's gone.
I gotta subscribe to Amazon Prime now to watch some of those games. I don't want to. That's a lot of work. Yep. I don't like it.
Bud, welcome to the big time. Are you happy?
Yeah, great.
I also just don't know what the final deal is going to be because they want multiple firsts, right? Like they're not getting 2 firsts. They're not getting 39-year-old.
They're probably if they get 1 first, they should be grateful.
Yes.
I think it's going to end up being like this year's 2nd, this year's 4th, and a conditional mid-round pick next year is my guess. And they'll throw in Corey Davis because I don't know, the Packers seem to like Corey Davis for reasons I can't because they're losing Lazard and they could use a big possession receiver and the free agent market is pretty much dry.
Wait, where's Lazard headed?
He's already signed with the Jets. Yeah,
he's already signed with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
4 years, $44 million. 4 years, $44 million. The rest of
can we just talk about some of the contracts some of these dudes are getting?
They're all fine. All the contracts are fine.
Okay,
sure, we can talk about it.
I'm just kind of like, oh. This guy's getting that
much? We'll hit it before this podcast ends. Yes, the Mets closers got turned.
You want to do this? Do you want to do Rodgers
Bob,
and Edwin
Diaz? Don't do
Diaz
this
on
to yourself.
Podcast?
We were
that was upsetting.
This.
But you know what? We're not talking about the nativist World Baseball Classic takes that are done. We're just not. They were all awful and stupid.
So Keith Olbermann, you
No.
So is that the native language of the stripe people?
Is
that the native language the native language of the stripe people?
I'm trying to recite Klingon love poetry, but it's not going very well.
You just sound like me on Bourbon Street circa 2012. Yeah,
I think that's what Christopher Lloyd says in Star Trek 3. But
search for
Christopher Lloyd plays the main Klingon in Star Trek.
Never seen a Star Trek episode, movie, anything.
Oh God!
What?
Never went down that.
Turn your mic off. Turn your mic off.
Okay, hold on.
What?
Turn your mic off.
How? How could you have not even seen it accidentally?
Yeah.
Like they play the Chris Pine Star Trek movie on a Turner network once a week. It's a contractual obligation. How could you not have seen that?
Yeah.
I was a Star Wars guy. Like I have the books. Like I read those. I like Star Wars a lot. I like Thrones. I like Harry Potter, obviously, but Trek never got me. Firefly, I love. Star Trek just never interested
Okay, so
me.
okay. Time
It's like
out.
Lord of
time
the
out,
Rings
time
for
out,
me.
Time
Never
out. Time
interested,
out. Time
never
out.
jumped in.
Full. I'm taking a full time out on this. Okay. So all the shows that you named, guess what? Some of the inspiration for
Yeah, they're
a
ripping
lot
off
of those
Roddenberry, man.
were Star Trek. So
Star Wars is for dorks. Star Trek is for cool dorks. Everybody knows this.
So I'm not a cool dork.
No, we've established
you
that.
have a picture of Andy Griffith, unironically.
Love Andy Griffith. A great North Carolinian. That was good.
That
But
was
also, can you do the Matlock name?
No, because I'm not a dork.
Oof.
That's
Still not as good as the Virgin line that I dropped that one time. That's still number one on the burn ranking.
That's one of those where, like, if I think about it like I am now, I'm just like,
yeah, we should
Jesus
splice.
Christ.
We should splice that moment into this episode so that people can relive it again.
I don't even remember when it was. Do we know? Do you know?
It was during core. It was 2 years ago. It was during core. It was in the middle of core. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were talking to me during quarantine.
Bob, I appreciate. Bob, I appreciate the fact that you called it core. Yeah. Core 2 years ago, like Nam, which was our own personal. Own personal.
I was
Nam.
in country.
Oh man, can you? I was just so I don't know if you guys have like on Facebook or whatever, and you see like all of the flashback. Oh, what was said on this date in 2017 and 2018, and I just look at the like from about about March 5th to about now.
Sorry, I just looked at myself in the way. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Anyway, sorry.
And so I'm looking, and I'm looking
ludicrous.
at like all of the flashback moments from March like 5th to basically now in 2020, and I'm just like, shit.
Language.
I know, but hey, relatable
Okay.
though, right? Because you're looking at like I was looking at like, oh, the NCAA tournament has been canceled, and you're just like, oh god, and you're just looking at all of these things, and I'm like. And we were just going into like to the kiddie pool, portion of 2020.
Yeah.
I was bartending in Atlanta at the time, and I remember telling some people, and I was like, "Yeah, this is it. Like, bye." And they were like, "We're not going." And I'm like, "No. This is it. Like, I'm not going to see you again. Maybe ever, but this is."
You have to go back to your stripe planet.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but when you were doing that and the stripes were there, I'm just like, I have to go back to my stripe, people.
Yeah, that's right, Poochie. Chase Thomas died on the way back to his stripe planet.
Can we put In the Arms of the Angel in the background? Mm-hmm. But no, seriously though, it's wild. Mm-hmm. Like, it is so wild how things were at one point, and I'm just looking back at things, and I'm just like, how did we survive this? Like, how did our school? There's a
terrible photo in my photo roll of like the Friday after the Gobert game was canceled, and Tom Hanks came out and said, "Oh no, I have COVID." I realized that I had run out of Jewel pods, and I was like, "This is bad." I thought I had 2 packs more, and I didn't. And I was like, well, this was when Jewel was still doing deliveries to New York State. They don't deliver pods to New York State anymore, so you have to actually physically buy them in a store. And I'm sitting there like, okay. And I tied an American flag bandana around my mouth because I didn't have a mask on me right at that moment. I'm like, I was dodging people. Like, people were just sort of walking around being fairly casual, and it's just like, nope. I had the bandana on. I was like bundled up. I took out, and I was Barry Sandersing it from my apartment to my local bodega to get Jewel pods. Like, keeping 6 feet from everybody. Walked in the store, walked out, took all my clothes off, and immediately put them in like a trash bag, sealed the trash bag, and planned to like delouse the clothes that I had worn that night. And I think I might have done the thing of like wiping down the jewel pods with hand sanitizer or something like that.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. Like, we haven't even reached the portion of the journey where it was like, I think it was like either it was April or May, where it was like, hey guys, if you're gonna go to the store, you're gonna need to use hand sanitizer to wipe down your groceries.
I had so many groceries. Like, my fridge at that time was filled with products that were difficult to recognize because I was scrubbing them down with slightly diluted bleach, and like 3 parts water, 1 part actual bleach in order to make sure they were. That was useless. That did nothing. But I did that.
I appreciate the fact that, like, looking back at it, like all the like COVID experts and all the doctors were basically just like, yeah, you guys really
do that. Yeah, do that. They can live on hard services. I mean, it can. They weren't wrong, but
there was like, oh, you guys actually did that. Oh
my God! I got about a year after that, someone on my street put out what I have to assume was a year's worth of cleaning supplies that they bought right when that announcement about scrubbing your groceries was made, and I was like, ooh, score! I scored like 2. I got white vinegar, I got bleach, I got actual hand sanitizer, I got like the Lysol products that kill 99% of bacteria and germs. I got a year's worth of cleaning products for free in, I'm going to say, March 2022. And I know that because it's about time for them for me to restock. And someone was like, well, now I don't need all this crap. And I was like, score, that's for me, free stuff.
You know, like all the Lysol stuff, we were 99.9% of germs, and essentially all of these news outlets, the fake news outlets, were telling us, you have to worry about the 0.1%. And we're all just like, oh crap, I guess we do. Oh no. And then it's like, did you really have to?
Yeah, probably,
you took us seriously. It's like, yeah,
I will cop to being one of the last few New Yorkers who is still masked on the subway, and it drives me bonkers.
That's good though.
Look, I have family members that are immunocompromised. If I want to spend any time with them, I have to take extra precautions.
For sure.
I do not know what percent more safety I am providing by being masked on a subway or washing my hands as soon as I get in the door. I just don't know. It may be all COVID theater. It might. But for a morsel of extra work on my part, it's possible that I am, in fact, being cautious around my family. So I'm going to do that. So I'm sorry if you want to call me a branch Covidian or something like that. But that's, to me, the calculus makes a lot of sense.
How dare you, Bob?
Yeah.
I remember, and then we can do our picks of the week and wrap up here.
Sure.
I remember the thing something that started me was that, like, being in the city at the time, I remember going into a Kroger, masked up and everything, and going down the aisle and being like, oh, there's no toilet paper. Like, and then I went back the next day, and I was like, there wasn't any. I was like, what do we do? I don't know what I do in this situation. Like, we didn't have it for days.
For some reason, the toilet paper shortage never hit my neighborhood.
Oh my God, it hit my neighborhood horribly, and I was like, I don't know what to do. This could be bad.
I had made the mistake.
Just to be honest, a lot of people in my, like, they just left. I think that helps make sure that I'm going to be honest here. The people in my neighborhood had the wherewithal to go to various summer and weekend homes outside of New York City.
They came to Tennessee. Do you know how many California people moved to Tennessee in the last 3 years? Yeah.
They just skedaddled, and I was here. I did not have that particular advantage. I did not have that option available, and also, again, I got family members in New York City. Even if I did, I would not have feel comfortable abandoning. So that was not something I could have done. But yeah, I feel like my neighborhood emptied out with a quickness.
That is funny because, like, in Washington, everything was shut down. Like, we were on super duper lockdown, but it was crazy because I had the flu at the beginning of the year in 2020. And so I made the mistake of, or I like to call it a happy accident, of ordering like the little disposable wipes off of Amazon.
Yeah.
And I ordered a 24 pack, but I made the mistake of ordering 2. And when I tell you, I did not go for any type of toilet paper or anything like that until June. And I was like, kids, this is why we buy in bulk.
There was that I had that there was a site that someone built that would notify you when all of the Amazons and the Walmarts and the Targets would let you know when various Lysols and cleaning products and toilet papers were available and in stock for delivery. I would check that thing on the regular, just be like, maybe I need more. Might need more. Better check it.
And what's funny is I was seeing all these stories, and I'm looking like downstairs in our utility closet, and I just see these 3 boxes sitting there, and I'm just like, let me not tell anybody that I have this.
Yeah, Andrew's got to protect his stash, man.
6 feet away. 6 feet away.
I also did the thing. There were COVID purchases that I made that sat in my fridge and or freezer for a long time, just looking like so much regret. I had I don't know why, but I was going to call it a 24 pack of Annie Chun's, like put it in the like noodles and things that you just add hot water, you get a noodle soup. I don't know why I bought a 24 pack, but it seems like something that I might need. And boy, let me tell you, those were, apologies to the Annie Chun's people, but those were some bad instant noodles, and they're still in my cabinet in case of emergency. Like
just in case we got to go back.
Go
back to the island.
I loaded up on a good 40. I had the 40-pound bag of rice and many parcels of dried beans and those Annie Chun's noodles, just in case that was all that I needed to survive on that. That was my thing, and I had that. It's never leaving me. That's got my children are going to inherit those Annie Chun's noodles. I haven't thrown them away. I probably should.
I just had like a bunch of, because you could ship alcohol in Washington. So I was just like, let me go back to some of my bartending roots. And yeah, by June, July, I was full on lushing it up. Just on our patio in the backyard. I'm going to make an afternoon drink. Going full Mad Men and in the midst of a pandemic.
Sure.
There you go. Bob.
Yeah.
Pick of the week, and what do you want to plug as we wrap up here tonight? Or this morning, rather.
I don't have anything to plug this morning, but pick of the week.
He's like the Grinch. Jim Carrey's the Grinch right now.
Yeah.
What do I wear? What do I wear?
Pass to Andrew. Pass.
Andrew, pick of the week, and anything you want to plug here?
Pick of the week. I don't know. Watch TV. Watch something productive. Do something
we got a whole week
life.
before the new Succession. I'm
and Yellow Jackets. And Yellow Jackets on Wednesday.
I still need to watch the first season of Yellow Jackets.
It's so freaking good.
Okay. I will say this. I believe we are truly in the midst of of the streaming wars ending. And yeah, that's how I feel. I could expand on that later, but no, we don't have enough time. So just value your streaming services while you can, because, I feel like we are going backwards quicker than anybody wants to admit. So yeah, there's your optimism for the week.
That's a dark one. That's a little
also accurate.
Yeah. My 2 picks of the week, it's one written, one video written. Henry Abbott had a really good piece in True. This is my favorite NBA blog. I'm glad that exists because I love reading all those guys. David, Gerard, Henry, they're all just great. And he had a really good piece about Kings and the NBA and officials and what Fred VanVleet said, and it was quite good. So I highly encourage folks to go read that one on TrueHoop.com. And then my wife and I went and saw. At the Indie Theater here in Knoxville, we went and saw Scream 6 last night, which is a banger. Scream 6 is good. I don't know how this franchise keeps doing good films, but they do it, and it was fun. It was a good time.
Is it wrong to admit that, like, after Scream 3, I'm just kind of like, yeah.
I get it.
No. Those are like, Chase, we need to get you a subscription to the Criterion channel so you can just plow through some actual, like,
good movies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Instead of
reruns are working pretty well.
Instead of the processed garbage that you eat on the regular.
Damn.
I could have a
leave
full
my
meal.
hot dog eating out of this box.
Yeah, I could. I could have a full meal, or I could have like a Frito pie with extra gummy bears.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Are you kidding? If they
what kind of gummies?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. Those are good.
Assorted.
Frito pies are always bangers, especially when it's like super cold for a high school football game in the fall.
I just put gummy bears on it, man.
So, that'd be delicious. Are you kidding?
I was asking what kind of gummies, but sure, whatever.
Let's do it. There you go.
The Haribo low budget Swedish fish. There, how about that?
Oh, actual like gummy bears.
Yeah.
No, still eating it. Up there in New York City, Bob Silverman. Thank you as always, my friend.
New York City.
I don't get the reference. I'm never gonna get it.
He'll one day, Andrew. We're gonna bully him into watching what we in the shadows.
Bullying works.
And then for a little bit longer, up there in Detroit, Michigan, Andrew Hammond of AL.com. Go subscribe. AL.com today. Go subscribe. Daily Beast. All that good stuff. Read them. Follow them. All that great. I think I've said stuff way too many times. Bob, Andrew, thank you as always, and I'll talk to y'all next week.
Say bye to...